We are officially in the second section of the course, which is the data management section. So we built out our whole app, but it's just the UI right now. And now we're going to go ahead and add data. We're going to use Firebase as our backend for this course. I have an entire playlist on Firebase on my YouTube channel. So if you want to do a bootcamp on just Firebase, I would check that out. Because I have that bootcamp on the channel, it's a free bootcamp on the channel, I have a whole bunch of videos here on how to actually use everything in Firebase. But because I went through all of this in detail in these videos, I'm going to assume that you guys already have a basic understanding of how it works so that we can move faster in this course and actually focus on the architecture of it and not actually the implementation of Firebase. We are going to implement Firebase, but we are going to also build our entire application to be fully decoupled from all of our dependencies. So even though we're using Firebase, you can use the exact same architecture for any other backend. So if you wanted to use Supabase, you wanted to build your own backend, you can use basically the exact same code, except for the one file where we're going to have our Firebase code, which we'll set up in the next video. But for this course, obviously I would recommend just going with Firebase for now, and then you can always swap it out at a later time. With that said, let's go ahead and create a new Firebase project. So I will link below the playlist for Firebase and also this link to go and set up your own Firebase account. You are going to need a Google account in order to sign in with Firebase. You sign in with Google and then you can go and create a new Firebase project. I'm going to call my project name AI Chat Course. I believe you can use spaces in here, but I just do not. I think it's just risk adverse. AI Chat Course. Let's click continue. I'm going to enable Google Analytics. By default, basically, I think every app I've ever built wants to enable this. It will automatically set us up. So if we want to use A/B testing and some other stuff, there's really no reason not to. It's free. Let's go ahead and click continue. Select your Google account. I'll just use the default account that everyone gets. Let's go ahead and create a project, and this should take maybe a minute. This actually used to take way longer, but Firebase team has done a great job of simplifying the project setup and honestly simplifying a lot of stuff in Firebase recently. Our Firebase project is ready. And let's click continue and let's jump into our Firebase dashboard here. So on the left, for those of you who never use Firebase, we have our navigation on the left. So we have authentication, the database, cloud functions. We have under run, there is A/B testing, Crashlytics, performance. Then we have a whole tab here for analytics. You do a dashboard of how people are using your app and everything analytics related. We're going to go here and click add an iOS app to our Firebase project. If you're not seeing this screen, you could also just click the settings button up here, project settings, and then there's the ability to add apps down here. I'll just go back to the dashboard and let's go ahead and add an iOS app. It's going to ask for app bundle ID. So let's jump back into our code base. Let's go to the navigator. We're going to go to our bundle ID should be right here, com.swiftlethinking.ai chat course. I really dislike how we can't just copy and paste this bundle ID. But if we go to the signing and capabilities tab, we should have the same bundle ID here. I'll just copy that, jump back into our code base, into Firebase and paste that in. App nickname, I'm not going to add one just because the name we gave our project is sufficient. We haven't uploaded it to the App Store yet, so there's no ID. Let's register this app. It's basically just going to make sure that we don't have another app with this same bundle ID already. And then let's download the Google service.info.plist. So if I open up the info.plist, this is what it looks like. It's basically just some quick metadata so that when we run Firebase in our project, the Firebase SDK knows what project we're supposed to point to in the Firebase console. Let's go ahead and click and drag and just bring our Firebase info.plist into our app here. And I will copy files to destination. Let's go ahead and click finish. We're going to move the folder where we hold this in a second, but I do want to point out that if you've done this multiple times on your computer, each time you download the info.plist, it's going to add a number like 1, number 2, number 3. So this is the 7th time I've done this. By default, the Firebase SDK is looking for this file name without 7 included. So let's just go ahead and delete 7 and just make it Google service-info. Let's jump back in here. We've done this. And now we want to add the Firebase SDK. We'll copy the link, jump into our app, Project Navigator. Let's go to the general, and we have the project package dependencies, and we can go ahead and add a package dependency here. We also could have just gone File, Add Package Dependencies, same thing. Let's paste in the URL here, and we're going to use the most recent Firebase version, which is 11.0. The Firebase team has made a bunch of updates in the major version 11 and up for Swift concurrency. So if you're going to use Swift 6, I highly recommend making sure your Firebase is on at least 11.0 or higher. Let's add package. It's going to ask us which of the Firebase targets we want to add to our project. We're going to use a whole bunch of them throughout the course, but for right now, we're just going to focus on the authentication first. So let's add the authentication to our AI chat course target, and let's add package. And we'll add the rest of them when we get to building them later in the course. All these things that pop in down here are all just dependencies of the Firebase package. Now that we have Firebase in our app, all we need to do is actually configure it. Let's go back to Firebase, let's click Next, and it's telling us to add the initialization code in SwiftUI. They want us to use a app delegate, and then we basically just have to call configure in the app delegate. So let's go ahead and do it just as the Firebase team is asking us. So I will copy the app delegate code. Let's jump to our project. I will Command-Shift-O, let's type app.swift, look for our AI chat course app. This is the first file in our application. I'll paste in a generic app delegate here, and let's put this on one line. Let's go ahead and import the Firebase core module. I think we just import Firebase is fine. Great. And then lastly, in the docs, they said add the app delegate. So let's copy that line and just paste it in our code base here. For those of you who have never used an app delegate because you started learning to code in SwiftUI, an app delegate is basically a bunch of root functions for your entire application that exist outside of the Vue lifecycle. So this did finish launching with options is actually the first thing that's going to run in our code base before the app even gets put onto the screen. So as soon as the app starts to execute, it will create the app delegate, which will run did finish launching, which will then configure our Firebase application. Then we will trigger the body to render our app. So this gets called before the app starts, and that's all we really need to make sure Firebase is working. Let's go ahead and Command R to build it to a simulator and see if we can confirm that Firebase is indeed working. Let's go back to the docs here, and I'll click Next. You're all set. Let's go to Continue to Console. Let's go back to our code base. When this runs, SwiftLint is telling us there's a colon spacing violation in Firebase's docs. All right, so let's just remove the space from that. Thank you, SwiftLint, for being so neurotic. And then hopefully this runs. My app did build, and we know this always launches on launch. The fact that we didn't get any sort of error message in the console, I assume that means that we are up and running and fully configured. That's it for this video. In the next video, we're going to go and actually start adding authentication to our application. Let's go ahead and Option Command C. Let's call this a feature, and we'll say add Firebase. Let's stage it, let's commit it, push it up to GitHub, and I'll see you guys in the next video.